TV, and I'm here to do a recap of I Need Romance 3, episode number 9. And I can't believe it's already episode 9. There's only 16 episodes in this drama, so it's kind of past the halfway mark, and we're kind of closing in on what's going to happen next. So when you saw from episode 8, you saw Juyeon kind of falling apart because she finally figures out that she's secretly in love with her boss of all these years. And Won is holding her and consoling her and just kind of helping her learn about more of her heart, as well as learn more about, just social etiquette and being a nice person, because she kind of hardened her shell into a lobster all of these years and hasn't really been able to interact really well with her coworkers, her friends, and just even her boyfriends. I mean, she has so many of these couple rings in this glass that it's like she's collecting like a party for her hands. So Juyeon falls asleep crying, and then Won is trying to comfort her, and then he picks up the phone. The call keeps happening and it keeps happening, and I think it's like poisonous snake or venomous snake keeps calling, and it's her boss. And so the boss didn't call to apologize, he called to give her more work. So Won's like, I'm not gonna wake her up for you to give her more work when she just totally fell asleep crying. Which I don't know if it's a good thing to admit to the man who made her cry. So the next morning it was kind of awkward because, Juyeon woke up in a panic because there was this work that needed to be done. Won's in the kitchen cooking and doing all this stuff. I mean, Won doesn't even seem like a real person because he's cooking, he's cleaning, he's totally there for Juyeon. He's like a confidant, he kisses her, he tells her he loves her. This is like some fantasy Ajuma's rendering of what a guy should be. And he's younger, so he's in his prime and what have you. Totally fantasy guy. So there's a couple of storylines that are happening. So Serang knows Won, and so they go to lunch together so Serang can pick Won's brain and figure out what's going on with Taeyoon and Juyeon. And so he kind of doesn't give everything away, but he is trying to be a friend to everybody. And again, fantasy guy, he's even a fantasy friend. So after this lunch, Serang decides to be best friends or frenemies with Juyeon. So I think what she was thinking here is to get as close as she can to the enemy so that she can infiltrate and cut her off at the pass and somehow take the prize for herself. I think that that's what's happening. I don't know. Sinister minds in K-drama, they're hard to figure out sometimes, but I think that that's where she was going with this. So one of the subplot storylines is Minjung, and she is ignoring her fling younger boy toys calls because she dusted him on one of their romantic getaways. She just left him hanging, and then didn't pick up his calls. And then finally, I guess she changed out her phone number. She's really trying to avoid him, which is difficult because he lives right next door to her. And so she's been having to sneak out of her house and all this other stuff. And recently she thought she was going through menopause, and then now she found out that she's pregnant and she's finding gray hairs. She's just kind of turning into this mess. Sort of. The hormones is probably not helping her. But I think she's just learning to, age gracefully, I guess, and learning to accept the fact that we all age. And so it's kind of it's like a bittersweet moment for her. So she's getting closer to Juyeon because Juyeon's really trying to make that effort to be a good friend to her and listen and not be judgmental and just just listen to her and, trying to accept her and her situation and be as helpful as possible because she's a single mom. And the other subplot is these two youngsters in the same group. They are, kind of tiptoeing around this romantic interest with each other. And the girl, she recently broke up with her boyfriend because she was just so adamant that he passes his civil servant exams. And then he finally does, but he broke up with her because she was so single-minded and she couldn't be happy. So I think for him, he didn't want to be beaten down for the rest of his life, not being good enough or, having to worry about things that she was worried about when you really don't need to worry about it, when he just wanted to be happy and to be loving towards each other and to be a cute couple. So that was that. And so now she's kind of working still with this guy who is this office romance kind of, but they're trying to avoid it. And then the two older ladies, they're oh, well, maybe he's gay because he knows all about these women flows and different things. And then she's the younger girl's like, no, he's definitely not gay. So that kind of like sends up an alert flag to the other women who are like, how does she know he's not gay? Juyeon has like this guy Won who is there for her, to cook for her, to watch TV with him, TV with her, and just like really be almost like her constant companion, her loyal mate, her soulmate maybe. And she doesn't really appreciate it because she's still learning to find herself, to find her own heart. And she's like, she kind of appreciates it because she acknowledges the fact that she really enjoys having somebody around, but then she's not really appreciating it because she's now going after Taeyoon, who may or may not be worthwhile to date because he's still kind of wanting to go out with Saerang, or having bittersweet feelings about Saerang. So Saerang and Juyeon have an amazing thing that happens with their TV show program, selling a lot of clothes, and then so to celebrate, Juyeon asks Taeyoon to go on a date with her, a real date, a full whole day date. And so he agrees, but he's a little bit smirky about it, which kind of makes me question his motives, and also just makes me kind of wonder, you know, what's up with him when he's supposed to be in love with Saerang, and there's this bitter breakup there. So then as Juyeon and Won are talking about what went down, like the whole thing with the dating and how she had an amazing day, she actually admits that she wants to go out with Taeyoon for a couple of reasons. One, it's because she has this newfound idea that she has a crush on the guy, but the second, which is, and the more, I guess, just darker kind of feeling to it, is that she wanted to hurt Saerang in the process. And you know, this whole time you're thinking, oh, you know, Juyeon, I hope everything's okay, because Saerang, she's conniving and she's not really your friend, she's your frenemy. But then Juyeon just turns it back around on Saerang and really plays her game even better than she did, and like dusts her in the end and gets the guy. So I think Won is just so disappointed, which I think is really hard to take when somebody that you care about is disappointed in you. And so he's really disappointed in the fact that Juyeon wasn't really trying to be a sincere friend, and she was out for herself, and she was actually playing games to get this guy and also to hurt somebody else. Sorry. And so he actually says, don't make me regret coming back for you. And so that kind of like gives Won a little bit of a backbone, because during this whole time he's a little bit too good to be true. And so now where Juyeon really needs to have a little smack on her hand and say, you know, that wasn't playing nice, it wasn't playing fair. And not always all's fair in love and war, but this one was kind of a dirty, sneaky thing. It's kind of underhanded, and she didn't really have to stoop that low to get the guy. So we'll see what happens in episode 10, and as we kind of finish up this I Need Romance, and I think everybody needs romance in their lives, and this one is actually a very cute drama. I really have been enjoying it. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching, and bye.